You guys, do you guys like running into old friends? I used to hate it. I love it now. Heck, I may even stalk some of them out. Look. I like reminiscing. I like going through old stories. I like seeing what people are up to. I ran into an old friend when I was watching Apple Plus's Wolves. It's a movie that no one's talking about, and here we go. It has star power. It's got George Clooney and Brad Pitt. The old friend is Jon Watts, our writer-director. Because I'm watching this movie, and I said to myself, I know this. I know this filmmaker. Because you can feel it sometimes. So let's go. It's quite the experience. I kind of go back when I was learning about film scores. And then this is back in my early days where I realized that the music in the movie Aliens sounded a little bit like the music from Wrath of Khan. It was like this quick march. There's scenes and shots and musical pieces in Aliens that, and you can put them side by side. They echo Wrath of Khan. So I went to my father's Wrath of Khan VHS and I looked on the back and it said James Horner. And I go to the Aliens VHS and it says James Horner. And that's when I realized that as mystical as music is to me sometimes, I can identify things. I felt like watching this movie brought me back to that moment because I realized something. I ran into a friend. Who is Jon Watts? Who's this guy? We talk about him. I think we've discussed every single one of his movies. 2014 Clown, one of my most recommended low budget science fiction horror movies. Clown is one great horror movie. We did that for the 31 Days of Dread. I was so inspired by that movie. The next year, he makes a movie with Kevin Bacon called Cop Car. We spoke about that here on this podcast. 2 years after that, he brings us a Spider-Man. We wanted this. The rumors of Peter Parker Spider-Man being in Captain America Civil War was wild. And then knowing that they were going to spin that off, pun intended, into a new Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Homecoming, it was such a breath of fresh air and such a highlight of those first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he gives us, why don't we, it's hard, it's difficult in my mind to how we don't discuss this as a trilogy. Spider-Man, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. The least favorite of all of them is Far From Home. People just seem like blah about it. I dug Far From Home. Far From Home when I first saw it. I love Jake Gyllenhaal in that. They should have continued his Mysterio. I don't know. Great effing villain. Let it go. But he gives us a trilogy. And the trilogy is good. And then we have Wolves. 3 years after that, this guy's been consistent. He's been good. In 10 years, a wide range of material. Clown, Cop Car, MCU Spider-Man trilogy, Wolves. Now, I say MCU Spider-Man because the one that he crafted, the one that he gave to us, this is a deviation from all the Peter Parker tropes. Spider-Man No Way Home. And we'll be discussing this. I have a opinion video coming on. Maybe I'll drop it today. Brad Pitt's in a movie called Formula One. It's directed by the same guy that did Top Gun Maverick. I can never pronounce his name. It's like Cluckenshaw. The guy that directed Tron Legacy and Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick is contributed to saving movie theaters at the time. It brought in so much money. If there's a second movie around that era, around the COVID era, that people just said, F it, I'm seeing this, it's Spider-Man No Way Home. The way how that trilogy wraps up this little arc for Peter Parker and the way it resets the universe for him, it's there, and people were ready, and people want. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home is a fantasy. It really is. Getting those three guys together in that movie, people thought we would never see it, and when it happened, we flipped out. Now, I make arguments against how much of a Peter Parker, how much of a Spider-Man movie these are, how much of a complete movie some of these are, because they are interlinked. They're linked. It's tough. There's a lot of inside baseball in No Way Home. There's all the Doctor Strange stuff. Like, it's just, it can be a little bit much. But the death of Aunt May and the Green Goblin coming back, William Dafoe, holy crap. It really is. I'm critical, but I do love it at the same time. And then we get Wolves. And Wolves is Harvey Keitel's character from Pulp Fiction. He's the wolf. Harvey Keitel gives a whole speech where he's a guy that shows up and fixes things. Wolves are fixers. If there's a random murder or someone's head explodes somewhere in a hotel room or something, these guys come in and clean it up. And we have what's her name? Amy Ryan from The Office. Which is so wild because Amy Ryan just reminds me of a girl that my friend, oh my god, it's hard for me to even talk about this. He makes up a girlfriend for years, and everybody knows, and he can't admit that he, maybe lied, maybe for different reasons, right? The reasoning why people lie is always pretty deep. But she looks like that girl. That's as far into it as I feel like going right now. We start with her in the hotel room. She has a guy. Something happens. The guy's bloody. The guy's dead. She's covered in blood. She makes a call. She calls George Clooney. George Clooney shows up, but then the hotel has secret hidden cameras. Brad Pitt shows up. So we have two wolves. And then these guys go on a adventure where they have a body in the trunk. The body's not dead. They're being betrayed. These are all the tropes. We love these tropes because we can follow the movie. But the precision is there. The way, this is a lot like Clown, where it's so purposeful every time someone talks, every time we see something new, every time we transition our scenes, every time we cut away, it's artful and it's there. AKAPAD, or sorry, film buffers, I'm interrupting the show to tell you guys, here we're discussing Larkin Cycle. That part, for whatever reason, did not get recorded when I first sat down to go through my notes and bring you this episode. So guys, moving forward, we're going to wrap up this episode, but we're talking about Larkin. This is the film's composer for Wolves, did a masterful job, who is a Watts guy. He did Cop Car. He did Swiss Army Man, which I have to see. That's with Radcliffe is in that. That's our Harry Potter boy in yet another movie. I know people that have seen Swiss Army Man. They absolutely love it. He's done Kin. I watched Kin 2018. That might be a Netflix movie. I don't think I discussed that. And he's got movies underneath his belt. Most recently, the Oscar winner, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, because multiverse movies now win the Oscar. I am hoping that we get a little bit of a rhythm with this year's Oscars, because I have seen more movies this year going into this Sunday than I have in a lot of recent time, Oscar-wise. 2024. Wolves. Larkin Seipel. This guy gave us one of the great modern day night shoots. It's neo-noir. It's a little bit reflective on the streets. It's a little bit red. It's a little bit neon. But it doesn't push it. He doesn't push the lighting to where it becomes neo-noir. It's just right on the precipice of that. You have to see a lot of movies to be able to visualize that, and I forgive. Look, guys, this is why we talk. I thought about doing these as more of a presentation with more video, more all these other things, but to gather some of these things that I speak to you guys about, it would just take hours and it would be days between episodes. We expect the vernacular to grow with the Film Buff podcast, but this is one of our guys. So we have this triangulation, right? We have a great writer director. We have great cinematography. And here we go. Theodore Shapiro. This is our music. We have incredible music. Theodore has a filmography that goes all the way back to 1995. And he has been, this guy nominated. This guy is one, just going through, come on, Ghostbusters 2016. He composed 1, 2, 3, 4 films in 2016. Include two that we've discussed on this podcast: Collateral Beauty and Ghostbusters. Trumbo, I still have to. That's with what's his name? That's a Jay Roach movie. I didn't realize that. Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad's in that. Bombshell, I still have to watch. Bombshell. Last Christmas, that's been on my Christmas. This guy's just one of the modern workhorses, and he gives us another, dare I say, potential Oscar nomination level. I'm watching this movie, and it's a formulaic situation, right? The plot's intricate, but the formula in which we're presented the story is we've seen it 100 times. But the guts of this movie is so much fun. It's so artful. This is one of those movies where I put this on and it just captured the entire room, and you paid more and more attention to it, and you just want to see more and more of what happened. This is a full recommendation. Jon Watts is one of the modern day best. He really is. And I'm happy I don't think he's doing Spider-Man 4. Which I hope. And he's also up at, discovered by Eli Roth. I love it. He's an Eli Roth guy. How amazing is that? But no, AKAPADers, I think this is one of the movies by the filmmaker that is branching out of serialized franchise entertainment. It's a great thing. Rock and roll.